are here. We are here. Oofda. So, I'm a minute or two late, but I am here. Those on Facebook, give me a moment here so I can also get onto Instagram, because the more the merrier, right? So thank you for joining me. La la la. All right. Boom. Let's see here. What am I doing? Okay. I am figuring this out. One of these days I'm going to actually know what I'm doing. La 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 la. Whoops. I think I had it. Wait. Reels live. Awesome. Thank you for your patience, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. I am live. Here we go. So on my phone, I am live on Instagram, and on my computer, I am live on Facebook. Woohoo! All right, thank you everyone for joining me. Like I said, I just getting set up here. Just got back a little bit ago from doing readings all day at Crescent Moon Gifts in Tacoma. And so I'm having to switch gears, and I had to down some tuna noodle hot dish, and so I'm still getting set up, so thank you for your patience as I do so. I want to plug in my laptop to make sure it doesn't run out, and and I may have left my plug-in for my laptop at Crescent Moon. Did I really? I remember seeing it and going, don't forget that. Up. Ta-da! All right. So, thank you for your patience as I get my head on straight. And I am Patrick, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know that. My name is Patrick, and I am the owner of Perching Wolf Studios. And I will be your friendly neighborhood shaman for the evening. All right. Excuse me. There we go. Almost there. And what we are going to do is mini medicine card readings. Woohoo! So I got my computer going. I'm on Facebook and on Instagram, which is amazing. And what we do, I have this lovely deck of cards called the medicine cards, and each card is a different animal totem, and so I do readings connecting to the animals. There we go. being a shaman, I work with the animal spirits quite a bit. It's kind of my specialty. I've always loved the animal kingdom. And my ex-wife actually used to call me Snow White because no matter where we went, I attracted little kids and animals. So I'm very connected to the animal kingdom, and I'm just lighting some sage so I can smudge my cards, seeing as I used them all day today. I can smudge them while we're talking. But what was I saying? Oh, so the cards are just the jumping off place. The cards basically give me who to talk to, and then I connect with the spirit of the animal, and get what aspect of their energy, of their medicine, is appropriate for whoever I'm doing the reading for. So what we do here, if you're new, welcome. Thank you for coming. I've been doing this for over a year now, since the pandemic began, and to kind of give people a little more guidance for their week. So in these weird, strange times, we can all use a little bit more guidance, right? So I figure I am going to do my part. So I started doing this, and I love this, and I love you for joining me. It is amazing what a difference you make. You know, it's like I'm doing this, connecting. The animals are connecting with your energy so they can know which ones to jump out and help. And so what we do is I pull 3 cards, and your job is to choose a number between 1 and 3, or you can choose a couple numbers, or all 3 numbers for that matter. Whatever makes your little heart sing. And then I go through one at a time, kind of doing a little reading for each card that I pull, and then whatever card corresponds, they're doing weird things tonight, whichever card corresponds to the number you chose, that is your guidance for the week. I'm going to try to, oops, there, now I had it so that while I was looking at one screen, I was looking away from the other one, or still working out the kinks in it, so we'll figure it out. Anyway, so whichever card corresponds to the number you choose, that is the animal who has volunteered to walk with you this week and to help you with their strengths, their energy, their medicine, whatever it is that they came to gift you. So and if I don't get too verbose, I have a tendency to talk a lot about these because this is my passion, but if I can keep things succinct and simple, we might have time afterwards to do a little guided meditation. Because no matter what I tell you the cards mean, it's still hearsay from your perspective, right? And so my job is to empower people to connect people to their own guidance. And so rather than it just being secondhand information, I would prefer teaching you how to connect with the animals and get their messages and their information firsthand. Because eventually, that's what shamanism is all about. It's about direct revelation. It's about no middleman. Connecting with the spirits yourself, being connected to source, being the hollow bone to allow spirit through. And the more people we have connected in that way, aligned and whole and radiating that love and wholeness, the better off the world is, right? So, okay, let's do this. Alright, so choose your numbers. Nice. Alright. So, number 1. If 1 is your card, you got the blue heron. I just heard blue falcon in the back of my head. But that's a whole nother thing. Blue heron. If this is your card, what the message, what the guidance is, what you're being asked to do is to move into stillness, to stand in your power and allow the universe to come to you. You don't have to go hunting anything outside. You don't have to track things down. You don't have to stalk things and find them. When you attain this level of stillness, everything you need comes to you. You create the opening. You create. I see it like there's that Zen or Taoist saying about how you can't grasp water, right? The only way you can hold water is with open hands. If you try to grasp it, it's going to spritz out between your fingers, and you're going to have none. And so this is the stillness, rather than chasing all the things in the outside world that you think you need. It's about dropping into your own center, opening yourself to receive, and allowing the universe to bring those things to you. Heron is one of the greatest hunters in the animal kingdom, and that bill of theirs is so sharp, and it's, they can go from stillness, they can spend so much time perfectly still, and as soon as they see a fish, it's like a lightning shot, choom, and they've got what they need. And so just like heron, when it's really being the eye of the storm, it's finding that stillness, allowing it's, like Alan Watts says, you can't flatten waves with a flat iron, right? You have, the only way to help the water still is for you to be still. Anything you do is going to create more waves. And that's part of the lesson of heron, is that stillness. And heron stands on those really tiny, skinny little legs, right? So they make hardly any ripples in the pond or the river or whatever. And so they don't disturb the world, And if you think of think of the water as kind of the world, the waves, the waves and the currents and the, wishy-washy, topsy-turvy world. Well, Heron's legs, he doesn't add any ripples to it and stands above the water, able to look down on the water. And so he's removed from the emotional ups and downs of the world. And so he can see more clearly. And the stiller the water, the clearer it is, right? And so Heron stands in stillness, allowing the water to still around him. And when it does, he looks in his reflection. He looks in his shadow. And so Heron is about self-reflection. It's looking to yourself for what you need. I was just listening on the way home tonight to a Kyle Cease video about, that there's nothing outside of you. Everything that triggers you, the trigger is on the inside. It's bringing you to awareness of something inside of you. And that's where Heron comes in, that self-reflection, looking inside yourself for that fish, for that nourishment, and the fish are drawn to Heron's shadow because it's cool. They're drawn to the coolness of his shadow. So by being in his power, by being still, by not getting pulled back and forth in the world, trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong, where they're supposed to be, head in the sky, feet in the earth, that bridge between spirit and the physical, he doesn't have to question himself. He doesn't have to try to figure out what's the best thing, because everything comes to him. And it's by looking within, looking in his own reflection, that he is fed. So it's a reminder that it's really about, this word has been coming up a lot lately for me, but sovereignty, It's about owning the things that trigger you, owning the your issues, not blaming someone else, saying, oh, because of you, I'm this way, and saying, oh, no, that person just did that, and I chose to be this way because of what that person did or whatever. So it's looking within for the answers. And ultimately, that looking within is to discover and uncover your own power, your own connection to Source and Earth. What else was I going to say? And it reminds me, there's a saying by Kafka, and I don't know much about anything else he's written, but I have heard this quote, and it's something about, you can know the world without leaving your house. And it's like when you come into harmony with the universe, when you stay in stillness. I wish I could remember exactly how he put it, but it's like when you sit in your power, you don't have to go anywhere. Everything comes to you. And in the saying, it's like the universe will come and roll at your feet like a kitten, because you are the universe. I've talked about the holographic universe before, and quantum physics and all of that, where every piece, every part of the universe contains every other part of the universe, which means you are the center of the universe, right? And you contain the entire universe within you. And so you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to seek out anything outside of you. You are self-contained. You are enough. And all you need is to sit and reflect and discover that power within you, kind of that nexus where all things are one, where everything is connected. And so don't think that if you're not doing or accomplishing or producing, that you're not accomplishing anything. Know that, and like I mentioned, the quantum physics thing, we've got so many advances in science and technology and all these things that point us toward a quantum physics, a quantum universe, and yet we insist on living a Newtonian mechanistic life. And like Einstein talked about, everything is frequency, and when you raise your frequency, that is so much more powerful than trying to force things. And if you force things in the physical, change things in the physical, you're just rearranging things. You're not really changing anything. True change has to take place on the inner planes first, and then it becomes reflected in the outer world. And so pay attention when something triggers you, when something upsets you, rather than running away from it or pointing fingers and blaming that thing for how you're feeling. Take a moment and feel what you're feeling. Know that that is your feeling, and that something in your path, whatever that outside stimulus is, it's triggering something inside of you that happened to you. And I don't know, this might be getting a little too deep for what I'm trying to do tonight. But there is nothing in your shadow to be afraid of. There is nothing within you to fear. And those things, the triggers, the traumas and such, a lot of times all they need is to be seen. It's like the smaller, younger part of you inside that's just asking to be seen, to be validated. And that's enough to allow that emotion to move on, emotion, energy and motion. And so by acknowledging it or just seeing it, that energy, whatever it is, moves on and clears, and then you don't have to deal with it anymore. The more we run away from things, trying to get away, the bigger they become, the more power we give to them. And then it becomes harder and harder to face it. There is nothing inside of you to fear. We're taught, we're raised in this, especially this Western society, Judeo-Christian standards of good and evil, and we're taught that we are evil. We are taught that we are sinners, that there is something basically wrong with us. If we're in the world, there is something basically wrong with us. And that is just not true. That is simply not true. You are perfect as you are. You have always been perfect. You are divine energy in a human form. You are spirit having a human experience. And the spirits aren't going to judge you. God is not going to judge you. We are the only ones who judge ourselves. And it's when we come up to those barriers and triggers that we're like, oh no, evil, evil, and we run away. When, like they say, the only way out is through. And so the more, and I'm not saying you need to do, don't just go down in your basement and sit and call up all your fears and stuff. I'm not saying that. But there are therapists, there are healers, there are so many people to talk to help you. What counselors basically do is help you see what's there. and to release the illusion of that there's anything wrong with you, that you are anything less than whole, that you are anything less than love, that you are anything less than divine essence. And so, seek help. Go to a counselor, go to a psychiatrist, whoever, a friend, whoever you can talk to help hold space for you and kind of help so that you can feel protected as you're doing this very vulnerable work. I mean, this isn't something you want to do necessarily on the commute home from work or something, right? But the more we can face those shadows, the more, like Heron looking into his shadow, that's where the fish come. That's how he gets his nourishment, is he looks into his shadow and finds what is actually there, what empowers him. Your shadow is the creative, wild, untamed, creative matrix that supports you. There's nothing there to be afraid of, okay? I better get on to the next card because I'm becoming a little verbose. So, I hope that makes sense. Basically, stillness, meditate. Take the moment to try to center and breathe, knowing that by moving into your center, by moving into stillness, you have more influence on the world through your frequency than you do just going out and rearranging things. All right, number 2. If 2 is your card, you got the whale. Whale is the record keeper. It is said that whale sings the history of the world in her song. And the interesting thing to me is that a few years ago I read an article about whales. And the scientists were really baffled because whale songs stay consistent from year to year, except every year it's like they add a little bit to the tail end of the song. So they stay the same except for a little addition on the end. And I'm like, oh my God, it's true. They're really singing the world, and they're adding on that past year's record to the song. And so when whale comes up, usually my first question to people is if they write, if they journal, or if they paint, or if whale is your card this week, there is a whale of a tale inside of you. There is your story, that record of your story needs to find expression. You need to find your song. And whether it's through art or song or writing or whatever, there is something inside of you just begging to be expressed. Your story your story needs to be shared. Your story has something to offer others. You are the trailblazer. You have experienced everything you have experienced in order to help others find their own way, if that makes sense. It's kind of like I used to have really bad anxiety. I used to have panic attacks on a daily basis. And it got so bad one time that I actually had tried to go off my meds, and it didn't work out so well. And it got so bad I had to go back and stay with my parents for a couple of months to let the meds kick back in. But it was like this hell time. anxiety and questioning and depression and panic and not feeling worthy, not knowing how the hell I was going to take care of myself in the world. And so I went to my mom and dad's, and it was like February, so it was like, or no, it was just after Christmas, so it was like January, February, Minnesota, so it's like below freezing temperatures, but I always got up and went for a walk. It took like a 2-mile walk down to a park and back, just to get out, just to get moving, even though it felt like my face was going to freeze off. And at the park, there was this little bridge over this little creek going into the pond and such. And I would stop there and I would talk to my guides. And I'd be like, the one time sitting on the bridge, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? It's like, I know better than this. I know this is all just in my mind, that, you know, I can see my way through it. I just can't escape from it. It's like, why am I here? Why is this happening to me? Why can't I find my way out? And one of my guides came to me and said, you're not doing this just for yourself. And he was like, you are carrying the energy of everybody from the future that you will help through these similar kind of things. And rather than that making it heavier, like, why do I have to carry everyone else's crap, right? It actually lightened the load, because I'm like, well, I can handle my own stuff. And if it's other people's stuff, I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to take care of that. And so it was like it kind of gave more purpose to what I was going through, because I knew what I was going through was giving me the experience and the wisdom I needed to help other people. And in a way, it was like the people from the future that I was going to help reaching back through time and drawing me forward through this, because in the future they needed me to get through this. And so if Whale is your card, chances are you're in a similar place, or you've been through things, you've gained experience and wisdom that will help others cope with their own stories, to help others find their own way. And again, like I was saying with Heron, everything is frequency, right? Stories, communication, song. The whale puts frequencies into the water, right? And so if that's your card, I would recommend journaling if you don't already journal. Even if it's just remembering and writing down different anecdotes from your past, maybe childhood memories and such. Or if you're an artist or a singer, songwriter, whatever, express your story somehow. Your story wants to be told. You know, water is like the best conductor of sound. And whales sing, and they can be heard all the way around the planet because the sound carries through the water. So your story is meant to be shared. So, because you have plumbed to the depths, right? I was talking, with Heron, I was talking about the water being the world, that topsy-turvy waves and currents, and it's the emotional world. You've been through the depths of the emotions. You have come through them. You now know how to navigate them. You have the experience and the wisdom to know how to move with the current, how to flow with the water, how to navigate up and down and every which way. And that's what you can, so you can be you can be an anchor for others You know, even if it's just saying, hey, I know what you're going through, I've been through it. Look at me, I'm fine now. Look, just to give them the knowledge that there is hope, that whatever they're going through is not the end of the tale. You know, like they say, if you haven't had a happy ending, you ended the story too soon. So tell your story in whatever media, whatever way you can. And my guides are. I'm trying to hurry. I don't think we're going to have time for the guided meditation tonight. My guides keep nudging me for different things. On the card here, you can see that star. That's actually the dog star Sirius, which is the brightest star in the night sky. And according to legend, that is where Whale came from. And so Whale has that star. It's like Whale's personal North Star that helps him always know where home is. He's always got his bearings. He's got his point of reference right there all the time. And as you write, your story becomes that North Star for you. You start to it's like, I don't know, I'm just talking off the top of my head. I'm hoping I'm making sense, but it becomes kind of the submarine that allows you to, you know, descend into the emotions and descend and ascend back up. You know, being able to relive things because you've always got your reference point. You've always got your bearings. You always know where home is. And by doing that, by telling your story, you help other people find their bearings. That's the whole point of all of this, is to point people toward home. Not, that's our home, but that's your home. Pointing people to their own heart, to their own guidance, to their own connection with deity, with divine. That's the whole point of all of this. We're here to walk each other home. We're here to help each other hear their heart, see who they are. And the more, like I said earlier with Heron, the more people we have walking around the planet healed and whole and passionate, living from the authority of their heart, the better off everybody is, right? So, that is Whale. All right, number 3. If 3 is your card, we got the horse. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. And horse is freedom. Horse is power. You know, even in this day and age, car engines are judged on horsepower. So when horse comes up, it's about finding your power, which is your freedom. Horse has to run or they get ill, right? It's like, it's what they do. Horse runs. That is their passion. That is their power. If they're kept in a small little stable all the time, they're going to wither and die because they're not able to fulfill their purpose. And so your purpose, you're meant to fly, you're meant to run, you're meant to expand. Horse is about expanding. You know, I always talk about horse being the first internet, right? Because it was horse who allowed us to go from these isolated little villages to a bigger and bigger global community. Horse opened up the trade routes, opened up communication, expanded the horizons, able to carry us further than we could go on our own. And so when horse comes up, it's a sign that your world is getting ready. If it hasn't already, it's getting ready to expand. You're getting ready to explore beyond the horizons. And again, you know, the common denominator of all of this is that stillness, turning within, looking within, finding your song, finding your, everyone has their own unique frequency. Everyone has their own unique song. And that's what makes harmony. We can't sing harmony if we're all singing the same note, right? So you are necessary in this world. If you weren't here, the world would collapse. You are the center of reality. You create reality. If you weren't here, the world would not be the same. There would be a missing component. You are necessary, is what I'm trying to say. You are inevitable. Without you, the universe would be incomplete. Okay? So, coming back to horse, of course, when you do self-reflection, when you turn inward, when you move into stillness, realizing how connected you are to the universe, how it actually works, how it moves from the inside outward rather than the other way around, then you begin to sense your power. And it's like, I mean, if you suddenly out of nowhere just sprouted wings, do you think you're going to walk to work the next morning? No, you're going to be flying as far and as fast as you can go. When you discover your power, it wants to expand. It wants to go. You want to, like, let's take this baby out and see what she can do, right? So it's time to do that. It's time to feel that energy. As we move into our passions, like Joseph Campbell used to talk about following our bliss. It's our bliss. It's that joy. Following what brings us joy, our passions, that fire that lights us up. That is actually spirit moving through us. And like horse, it carries us. It takes us farther than we could go on our own. When you start moving in the right direction towards your dreams, towards your passions, universe steps in and begins to carry you, so it becomes effortless. And you expand. Things happen that you could never have imagined because it was beyond the horizon. But now that you're on your horse and running and exploring, nothing is out of reach. And how powerful is that? Coming back to the stillness of Blue Heron, when you meditate, when you like whale, that rhythm of coming up, getting a breath and diving, coming up, getting a breath and diving, that rhythm, coming up and getting a breath is like meditating, or whatever you do to connect to spirit. It's like the air is spirit, and by taking that breath of spirit, that's what allows whale to navigate down in the depths, because he carries that spirit within him. And that's what you get with the stillness, is that connecting to the spirit. And then when you connect to spirit and you get that sense of your purpose and the direction and where you are meant to go, there's no stopping you. Then everything you do from that heart is, how do I put it? Basically, you can do no wrong. It's like when you come from spirit, when you move from your heart, which connects you to spirit, every action you take as you begin to move and expand in the world, everything you do is inspired action. When you start with the frequency first, turning inward, connecting to the heart, then everything you do affects the world in a bigger, more expansive way. because it's consistently reflecting the vibration and frequency within. And so that frequency within is supporting the expansion and the reflection of the world outside. I hope that makes sense. And also, this is something I've never actually talked about in the card readings before, but I don't know if you've been around horses or not, but horses have this natural, they can be, they're strong, they're batteries, they're like this powerhouse, right? But they don't have to prove it. And so they walk around and just exuding this power, but at the same time, there's this gentleness to them. There's this calmness to them. And I was just reading an article about, all the different, I have a friend who does horse therapy. I don't know what the, equine therapy, where, especially working with like disabled people or people with PTSD, coming and working with horses. The horses bring this centeredness and this calmness, and they talk about how your heart emits this electrical energy, so that there's this electrical bubble around you. And I don't remember what the proportion was, but horses have a bigger energy output than humans do. So just being in the vicinity of horses automatically calms us. So what I'm trying to say is, when you get a sense of your power, when you get connected with your power, it doesn't mean you're just going to go manic and just crazy and, flying around the world with no purpose or nothing. With that power comes a centeredness, a calmness that doesn't need to be proved, that doesn't need to be justified. The more light you radiate out, the less crap can come in, right? And so it's like the more in our heart we are, the bigger and more powerful that energy we're radiating outward. Just like the horses, you can calm a room just by walking into it. We all know people who have that ability, like they walk in the room and the entire room just lights up because of the energy that they're exuding. And then it's a question of entrainment, where the same phenomenon of, like, you have a room full of clocks, eventually they're all going to be tick-tocking at the same time. They entrain to the highest vibration. Or if you have a household of women, eventually their moon time are going to sync up to the one with the strongest vibration. And so if you walk into a room with the strongest, most powerful vibration, and you're calm, you're going to raise the vibration, the frequency of everybody in that room, And some people might not be able to handle it, and they'll have to leave right away or get angry or mad because you just opened up part of them that was never open before. And so they might resent you and like, oh, I hate that person. They always make me feel so uncomfortable. Well, you're actually doing them a favor, because that discomfort is their heart opening a little bit further. And so by just being present, you can change the world. You can heal those around you just by your presence. Like they say in the Tao, by doing nothing, nothing is left undone. So be the powerhouse. Be so centered in yourself, so, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-reliant, where you're totally, you become your own power. You become your own battery. You connect to Great Spirit, to Creator, which is your source, which is who you are, and then that moves through you and powers you. And then you're carried. The Spirit carries you wherever you need to go. The Spirit carries to you whatever it is you need. So ride those vibrations, find those frequencies, sing your song, and at least a little bit, 5-10 minutes a day, spend some time in stillness. Put the phone away, go sit by a tree, and just experience whatever. You know, there's this really good meditation I learned a long time ago, and where you just sit, you close your eyes, and you listen. And as best you can, you just listen to the sounds without labeling them. You don't go, oh, that's a bird, oh, there's a car, oh, a dog's barking. You just listen to the raw sounds until they become a background. They become wallpaper. And there's this centeredness and this calmness that comes from just dissolving into that place where everything is just wallpaper. It's all part of the harmony, the movement of the universe, which ironically leads to your stillness. So that is our readings for tonight, my friends. I hope that was helpful and meaningful. So here is the self-promotion part. Check out my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, to see what shamanic things I offer, services and healings and classes. Oh, and I'm actually, this coming Friday, November, what is it? November 12th. From 2 to 5, I'm going to be doing an Introduction to Shamanic Journey class on Zoom. And you can find the information on my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, or on my Facebook page. And it's got my PayPal and everything on there. You can sign up, and then I will send you the Zoom link. So if you've ever wondered about shamanism, if you've been curious or felt called to a shamanic path, this is a class for you. We go into the history of shamanism, what it is, what it's not, what a shaman does, who the spirit guides are, all these different things. And then I actually teach you the technique called shamanic journeying that shamans have used for over 100,000 years to assess infinite knowledge, to, like I mentioned earlier, direct revelation, to connect to the spirits and get your information direct. And so you will actually meet one of your power animal spirit guides in the class. And once you do that, I say it, and I don't say it lightly, that class can change your life. When I first got divorced, one of the very first things I did was took a shamanic journey class, and it did literally change my life. Once you take a class like this, it's your foot in the door, and then it's like the world is your oyster. You can do anything, you can go anywhere. So if that calls to you, please check it out. Join me Friday for that class. What else? Check me out on, if you're on Facebook, check me out on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, check me out on Facebook. And what else? I feel like I'm missing something. Also, I also do a pipe ceremony. I was doing it every week during the pandemic, and then I went to once a month, and I'm getting strong nudges to start doing it once a week again. I think like through the winter months when things are dark and dreary and we need a little bit more light, it's like lighting the pipe, lighting ourselves. So as kind of a way to give people that space and to connect to spirit, to find that light in the darkness of the year. I'm going to start doing every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. It's about an hour. It's a sacred pipe. Hollywood has deemed it the peace pipe, but it's a sacred pipe given to the Lakota people by white buffalo calf woman. So I am a pipe carrier. I lead that pipe ceremony once a week. So Wednesday night on my Facebook. I won't do it on Instagram because I've only got one. We'll be out. Well, no, I don't know if we'll be outside. We might be outside, or we might be in my office. I'm not sure. So, but join me Wednesday night at 7 o'clock for the Sacred Pipe Journey, Sacred Pipe Ceremony, if that's interesting to you. And I guess that is it. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your presence here. It means the world to me. I always, like I said, I've been doing readings at Crescent Moon in Tacoma all day, but I always look forward to coming home and getting to do this. There's just something about it that I enjoy. So, and I will feel free to share this. And it will be on my Facebook page and on my Instagram videos, whatever that's called. So you can see it again if you wish to. And I will upload it to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel. So check that out as well. I have over a year's worth of these readings. So, even now you can choose, just randomly choose one, choose a number, and see what that guidance is. And it's just, the energy is just as vibrant as when I first recorded it. So there's that. So I'm going to upload it so that you can watch this again if you forget during the week, or you want to choose another number during the week and see what happens. And on my YouTube channel, the last weeks, I did do the guided meditation. Since I wasn't able to do that tonight, we ran out of time. You can go to last week's video and kind of fast forward to when you see me with the drum and do the guided meditation and just ask whichever animal came to you this week to come and meet you in that meditation, and then get your own message directly from that animal. So I believe that is it. I hope to see you Wednesday night. If not, I hope you'll join me again Monday night. Invite your friends. If you enjoyed this, feel free to approach me for a personal reading when you get 5 cards all to yourself and it's more pertinent to your direct experience and questions and everything you need to know. So that is my joy. My job as a shaman is to support the community that supports me. So it's a win-win. It's a mutual benefit. And I love, love, love helping people find that power, to find their own answers. So check me out for that. And until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, that I honor you. So have a wonderful week, a wonderful few days until I see you again. And go shining. All right. Bye.